Paddy Pimblett faced Michael Chandler in the co-main event at UFC 314 on April 12 this past Saturday at the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida. This lightweight bout was billed as Pimblett's toughest test to date, pitting the rising British star against a seasoned former Bellator champion and UFC title challenger. Pimblett's got a record of 22-3 with 6-0 in the UFC before the fight, and Chandler was 23-9 with a 2-4 UFC record. The buildup was really intense, with significant hype surrounding Pimblett's undefeated UFC run and Chandler's reputation for explosive, entertaining fights. Coming off a first-round submission of Bobby Green at UFC 304, Pimblett was confident but faced skepticism about his competition level. He aimed to prove himself against a top 10 opponent, viewing Chandler as a gateway to title contention. Pimblett's brash persona and marketability fueled the narrative, though some, including Chandler, argued his confidence outstripped his resume. At age 38, Chandler was on a two-fight losing skid with a 2-4 UFC record despite earning bonuses in 5 of those 6 fights. He saw Pimblett as a step down in competition and compared to past opponents like Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier, predicting an early knockout due to his stylistic advantage. Conor McGregor added some intrigue by betting $500,000 on Chandler to knock out Paddy Pimblett, amplifying the stakes. The fight was seen as a do-or-die moment for Michael Chandler, with analysts like Matt Brown suggesting that a loss could end his title hopes. Pimblett delivered a career-defining performance, defeating Michael Chandler via third-round TKO via strikes on ground and pound at 3 minutes and 7 seconds of the third round. The fight showcased Pimblett's striking, grappling, and resilience, silencing all the doubters who questioned his elite-level readiness. In round number 1, Pimblett opened with heavy low kicks and an uppercut to keep Chandler at bay. Chandler landed a big takedown, controlling Pimblett briefly and landing ground shots. Pimblett countered with elbows and escaped, and finished the round with a flurry of strikes. The round was competitive, with one judge scoring at 10-9 for Pimblett and 2 scoring at 10-9 for Chandler. In round number 2, the tides began to change. Pimblett dominated on the feet, using jabs, hooks, and body shots to chip away at Chandler, who was struggling to close the distance. Chandler secured another takedown, but Pimblett escaped, took top position, and threatened an arm triangle. He ended the round on Chandler's back, landing punches, and they scored at 10-9 for Pimblett across the board. In round number 3, Pimblett started with a jumping knee that cut Chandler's face, causing significant bleeding. He chased Chandler, secured a body lock, and took him down. From mount, Pimblett unleashed a barrage of elbows and punches, prompting the referee to stop the fight. Taking a look at the fight stats, Pimblett landed 62 of 98 significant strikes at a 63% clip. He landed 3 of 4 takedowns, and he had 2 submission attempts, an arm triangle, and a rear naked choke, and he had 4 minutes and 12 seconds of control time. Chandler landed 34 of 76 significant strikes, 45% accuracy, 4 of his 7 takedowns, and he had no submission attempts. He controlled 2 minutes and 58 seconds of ground time, but was ineffective in top position. Chandler was visibly bloodied, with a cut on his cheek requiring immediate medical attention post-fight. At the time of the stoppage, Pimblett led 20-18 on one card, while 2 had it 19-19. Pimblett was furious about the first round scoring, believing that he had won it clearly. Pimblett's performance was a masterclass, blending sharp kickboxing, creative grappling, and relentless pressure. His ability to counter Chandler's wrestling and escape bottom positions and capitalize on Chandler's fatigue highlighted his growth. The jumping knee in round 3 was a turning point, shifting momentum decisively. Pimblett's volume, striking, and ground dominance exposed Chandler's defensive lapses and waning stamina. Validating Dana White's praise, Paddy Pimblett showed tonight that he is the real deal. Chandler, conversely, showed flashes of his explosive style, but he couldn't sustain his momentum. His takedowns yielded minimal offense and he absorbed significant damage on the feet. At age 38, with his 1-5 record in his last 6 fights, it raises questions about his durability and elite level competitiveness. During a backstage interview, Colby Covington interrupted Pimblett, sparking a heated exchange. Covington called Pimblett a bum who fights scrubs, referencing Chandler's 2-4 record. Pimblett retorted, mocking Covington's own 2-4 record in his last 6 fights and accusing him of seeking relevance. Security separated them as they threatened to slap each other. Pimblett later dismissed Covington as Mr. Irrelevant, noting a prior encounter at Power Slap 12 where Covington avoided eye contact. Dana White downplayed the incident, and Pimblett expressed no interest in fighting Colby Covington, focusing on lightweight title contenders. And given the performance that he just turned in against Chandler, who could blame him? As moving on to a Covington fight next would be seen as a significant step backwards by most of the MMA world. So what's next for Paddy Pimblett? Pimblett is now 7-0 in the UFC and likely top 10 ranked. He called out several high-profile lightweights in his post-fight interview, such as Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, and Arman Tsarukyan. Pimblett wanted to prove that he's the better submission artist, citing Oliveira's UFC record of 16 submissions. He also called out the other 3 in the top 5, and he's aiming for a title shot by 2026. Ilia Topuria was never mentioned in the post-fight interview, and Pimblett dismissed him as irrelevant, but expressed interest in welcoming him to 155 pounds later on, claiming that he'd replicate his Chandler performance. Conor McGregor was angered by losing his $500,000 bet on Chandler, and Pimblett challenged him, saying, "If you want to come back, I'm here, son." He doubted McGregor's return, but welcomed the fight. The UFC will likely match Pimblett with a top 5 lightweight to test his title credentials. Charles Oliveira makes the most sense given Pimblett's call-out and the stylistic clash of submission specialists. Arman Tsarukyan, who recently challenged Pimblett on X, is another strong candidate, especially after withdrawing from a title shot. A wild card like McGregor is less likely due to McGregor's uncertain return. This win cements Paddy as a legitimate lightweight contender, dispelling notions of him being a hyped prospect with a padded record. His marketability, combined with a 7-0 UFC win streak, second only to Islam Makhachev, who's 15-0 in the division, positions him 1 or 2 wins away from a title shot. At age 30, he's just now entering his prime, and his ability to handle a veteran like Chandler suggests that he can compete with the division's elite. Chandler's third straight loss and a 1-5 run in his last 6 fights puts him in a very precarious position. At age 38, with significant damage shaken, his path to a title shot is effectively closed. This loss may force Chandler to reassess his goals. Matt Brown suggested a loss to Pimblett could prompt retirement considerations, though Chandler's post-fight statement, quote, "never out of the fight," and focus on family suggests his resilience. Dana White compared him to Arturo Gatti, valuing his entertaining style, so the UFC may continue booking him in high-profile bouts despite his record. However, his days as a top contender are likely over. Pimblett's TKO over Chandler at UFC 314 was a breakout moment, showcasing his striking, grappling, and star power. He dominated with 62 significant strikes, 3 takedowns, and a brutal ground and pound finish. Earning praise from Dana White and peers like Dustin Poirier, his callouts of Oliveira, Gaethje, Poirier, Tsarukyan, Topuria, and McGregor signal title ambitions, with Oliveira or Tsarukyan as his likely next foes. For Chandler, the loss marks a career low, with a potential featherweight move or fan-friendly matchup next. The backstage clash with Covington was a footnote, highlighting Pimblett's growing prominence and Covington's fading relevance. This fight elevates Pimblett towards stardom while pushing Chandler towards a crossroads. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What's next for Paddy Pimblett? What's next for Michael Chandler? What did you guys think of the fight? And if you liked today's breakdown, hit the like and subscribe button for more action.